I'm going to take a look at the new Player of the Week pack on eFootball. There's 1 or 2 new bits in the game. So first, as you can see here, we've got another one of these voting things. You vote on how Arsenal are going to get on in their Champions League quarter-final. We get a position train for voting. And if you're lucky, 10,000 people will get a selector thing that gets you 5 skill trains or 5 position trains as well. So that's cool, something for nothing. We've also got an Encored Champions League Player of the Week pack. There are 43 players in there. And we get a total of 5 free spins, which is cool. That's our new campaign. Outside of that, what have we got that's new? We have a new pack. And what is in the pack? A red kit. That's it. So if you really want a red kit, that'll cost you 100 coins, albeit they really should have put it in the point store, which is, unsurprisingly, empty. And at this point, it is just, quite frankly, an insult to the player base. But there we go. I've had that run before. So let's get to the Player of the Week pack that we're going to look at. So as always, I will put timestamps in the description for each player in the pack. So if you want to hear about a particular player, click on the description and there'll be a link that will take you straight to them. And they're all 5 stars this week. And we'll start with the booster straight away. So that is Keito Nakamura from Rams in France. So he's got a face scan, of course, because he's Japanese. That's just boosting straight away. And it's some kind of on the ball. What's that? Technique. We've got the technique booster. So we've had a player of the week card of this guy before, but what they've done differently this time, he's a striker. He played up front for Rams at the weekend. He got 1 or 2 goals. It was either 2 goals or a goal and an assist. He had a good game, obviously. So he's a goal poacher centre forward now. The previous player of the week card we had of him was a left wing forward with his usual playing style of prolific winger. This one is a bit better before the boost even. With the boost, it's definitely better. We've had a Showtime version of Nakamura that was comfortably the best version of him. They've also had some kind of trainable highlight card, I think from some kind of Liga and Player of the Season pack or something. Pretty similar as a winger, to be honest. Points kind of shuffled around a bit. What they've done with his GP card, obviously it's a different position they've given him, so it's hard to really compare, but you clearly can't train his GP card to be as good a centre forward as this one, and even as a winger, this one's better. So obviously it is a very good version of Nakamura, and it's very different. It's going to be a question of whether you see him as a centre forward, as they've made him, or whether you consider he'd actually be better in his old position. For me personally, looking at him straight away, I always say on a centre forward, 82 attacking, when it's 83 finishing, it's not high enough for me. I would not want to put this guy up front, but I can just look at when he's on form, at least looking at the rest of his attributes, he looks very decent as a left winger. He will not have an active playing style as a left winger though, so it's going to be one of these cards where if you really don't like using players without an active playing style, then it might not appeal so much. But for me, I don't mind that at all. I know a lot of people don't mind that. And looking at the attributes, he's got the pace, bounce is all right, on the ball certainly on A form, very nice. Got good awareness and finishing for a wide man. Passing's not brilliant, but you can work around that. I think it could be a very decent option wide left. But like I say, centre forward, the awareness and finishing are too low for me. Yes, he's going to be very nice on the ball for centre forward. Good pace as well, and got a good selection of skills here. But yeah, the awareness and finishing let him down as a centre forward for me. Skill-wise, they've taken away, it looks like they've removed acrobatic finishing. That's very annoying when you make him a centre forward. But we've gained 1 touch pass, I think outside curves, new fighting spirit, of course. All the attacking players in Player of the Week seem to get fighting spirit these days. We've already got first time shot. That's a crucial one on the centre forward. Long range curl and long range shooting. So you could certainly get away with them as a centre forward if you do feel like you can get work around the awareness and finishing being quite low. They're not disastrously low. They're just not quite as high as I feel is necessary. But if you think you can work around those 2 attributes, very strong elsewhere. With that goal poacher playing style and the skills he's got, he could certainly be an option for you as a striker. 1 touch pass and 2 passing are nice, but they'll simply compensate for the fact his passing's not great. Outside curves a handy one as well. He's not overly 2-footed, so yeah, this is a card where, like I say, it's a question of where you're going to use him. Obviously, playing in Ligue 1, there's no French League challenge, so this is a guy who it's primarily going to be one that you're looking at for your main squad for divisions and so on, unless you rock a Japan squad in the national team challenge, or if you rock a Japan squad in divisions, obviously. But yeah, through the middle for me, lots of qualities, good selection of skills. It's just the awareness and finishing that let him down for me as a striker. But if you can work around those 2 attributes, it could be a very nifty one, very handy one up front. But wide left, if you don't mind the fact he won't have an active playing style anymore, I think he's got lots of qualities. Wide left could be a very decent option there. So the lack of a French League challenge obviously reduces the amount of use that a lot of people will be able to get out of this guy. But certainly if you do get him, he does have a lot of qualities, depending on whether you can work around the slight issues on either position, striker or wide left. And SS as well, I would say his passing is probably not quite so great. But again, if you can work around the passing, could be handy there. So you got a few positions you could use this guy. in any position, there's one or two things you'd have to work around, but certainly there are a lot of qualities, and it's not a bad card at all to pick up. So if you do give him a try, and you could well find it's a pretty handy card to have. And next we have our goalie. It's Matheus from Ajax. So he's an attacking goalie. He has a face scan, unwavering form, and skill-wise, we'll start with the skills. They've given him through passing. Interesting. It looks like they've also had a low punt and long throw. So he already got penalty saver and captaincy, but we've got a bit of distribution added skill-wise. Low punt and long throw, but also through passing. Very interesting. A lofted pass up to 78. So very decent lofted pass for a goalie. But in terms of the core goalie attributes, pretty solid. He's about 6'1", 6'2". The awareness and reflexes are good. Reach, it's okay. It's not brilliant. I'd like it to be just slightly higher. It's 1 point away from being able to get to 90 with maximum game plan boost. Catching and parrying kind of okay. Again, like with Nakamura, this guy, there's no league challenge that you can use this guy for. There's no Dutch league challenge. So you're going to put him in your Brazil squad. Certainly a solid goalkeeper. You're going to use him in divisions. I mean, he could do a job. I don't know how amazing this guy's going to be, though. He's not the biggest, not small by any means, but he's just kind of all right. He's just pretty much okay across the board, but he's got that nice distribution on him, though. So certainly not a bad card, this. I think for most people who've been playing the game for a while, we've probably got better goalkeeper options. And like I say, the fact there's no Dutch league challenge, that limits how much use that most people will get out of this guy. But as a goalkeeper option, he certainly could do a job for you. If you don't have any better options who've got A or B form in any given week, I think you can certainly do a lot worse. And the fact they're giving a bit of distribution there, especially with through passing, his lofted passes up quite high, very high actually for a goalkeeper. Yeah, it could be a decent one to have, but like I say, the fact there's no league challenge to use him in, and he's nothing really special. Yes, he's got a bit of distribution, which is fun on a goalie, but beyond that, for your Brazil squad maybe, divisions, a bit of a stretch. So yeah, it's not a bad goalie at all. The extra distribution is nice, but I don't think it's one that's anything to get too excited about, really. Next we have João Mário. So we've had a few versions of this guy in the past. Not had one in a while. Creative playmaker. He's actually normally a classic number 10, so changing from a classic number 10 to a creative playmaker for this card. We've had a few Player of the Week cards. This is the best Player of the Week version we've had of him. One was a Classic 10, one was a roaming flank. That was a Champions League card. But yeah, this is the best Player of the Week version we've had of João Mário. I've had a few trainable versions of him as well. And the better ones are a similar level to this, to be honest. The main difference is that this one's got more pace and balance. Although one or two of the other trainables are a bit better on the ball. So as you'd expect with the Player of the Week card, kind of shuffled around a bit. But this one's still good on the ball, and he does have that pace and balance. So I'd say this one is, for me personally, is probably going to be preferable to most of the trainable versions we've had of him. The pace and balance is where he's had the biggest boost from his GP card. They put a really nice boost on his pace and balance. His on the ball attributes are all down by 1, but he's still going to hit the 90 mark on all those with a maximum game plan boost. So I think we can live with that, albeit I don't see the point in taking 1 point off all of those. It seems a bit unnecessary. But apart from that, decent boost. Obviously his defenses been boosted because he's an attacking player. That's what they do in Player of the Week for some reason. But yeah, defenses are up. Loads of things are up a little bit. Skill wise, they've added heel trick, pinpoint crossing, and of course fighting spirit. So yeah, got one touch pass, through passing, weighted, pinpoint crossing, heel trick and outside curl, nice ones to have. Soul control likewise. He's going to be nice on the ball. It's got some end product. It's not got amazing passing. Adding pinpoint crossing just means his crossing will be decent. It won't be amazing with only 81 for lofted pass, but 86 low pass. It would have been nice if that just one higher, so you can get to the 90 mark with your game plan boost, but it's still decent. He's got decent enough passing. He's tidy on the ball. Attacking awareness is decent. And that boost to his pace, he's not the quickest, but he's certainly a lot quicker than he normally is, and that balance is going to hit 90 with the game plan boost. I'm not sure he's had that balance that good on any previous version of him. So again though, do you get the Turkish League challenge? There is a Turkish League challenge at least, but most of us don't get to do that anymore for some reason. So yeah, if you still get the Turkish League challenge, this could be a very handy card to pick up for that. But if you don't, again, like with the last two cards we just looked at, how much use are you going to get out of this guy? Is he getting a squad for divisions? Probably not. Portugal squad, maybe. I don't know. It's not a bad card as a playmaker. The boost they give him athletically, the fact he's technically very sound, he could certainly be a tidy one. Got unwavering form as well. Good selection of skills. So yeah, he's a decent playmaker. I don't think he's quite got the pace to play out wide. He could get away with out wide, to be fair. Has he got long range curl as well? No. He's got nothing really for his shooting. I'm not sure about wide left. Finishing attributes not brilliant, but on the right, putting crosses in, maybe. Not the quickest though, so probably a bit of a stretch. But certainly as a playmaker, an attacking midfielder, it could be a decent one. But again, like I've said with all the cards so far in this pack, if you don't get that Turkish League Challenge, then I just don't know how much use most people would get out of this guy. But if you do get the Turkish League Challenge, it could be a very handy one to pick up. And it could be decent regardless. It's just not an amazing card. And next we have Fran García from Real Madrid. So we've got an attacking fullback. He's got a face scan. He's tiny. Should have that low centre of gravity. That will help. He should hopefully feel a little more nimble than he would have otherwise on the ball. He's got pace, stamina. We've had one version of this guy previously. It was in some kind of legend box, one of the fairly recent highlight cards with that kind of dark green football background. That was slightly higher than this one in terms of the overall rating when you boost him up, but the stats are shuffled around a bit. Not a massive difference overall, to be honest. If you got that one, I'd say you probably don't need this one. If you've not got that one and you do get this one, like I say, I don't think a lot of difference, to be honest. I think they're both around about near enough the same level. Compared to the GP card, we've lost some speed, we've lost some stamina, but as you can see, speed and stamina both 90 plus already before your game plan boost. So I think we can afford to lose those points. The left and right columns have had a pretty nice boost, near enough all the way down. And his physicals as well. He's had a pretty decent boost on the whole. Skill-wise is probably where he's had the biggest boost, to be honest. So they've thrown in quite a few skills here. Heading, through passing, man marking's new, fighting spirit is new, aerial superiority, side and tackle. Most of these skills are new. So he's got a very good selection of skills for an attacking fullback. We've got one touch, through passing, pinpoint crossing going forward. That's excellent. Then defensively, man marking, interception. We've got aerial. I mean, he needs that because he's tiny. Sliding tackle, fighting spirit. Yeah, he's still not going to be great in the air, but aerial superiority at least makes him a bit better. But he's got those skills going forward. He's got interception and man marking. It would be nice if he had blocker if we're going to be greedy, but I don't think we can be too greedy. We've got a good selection of skills on him now. Defensive awareness is a bit dodgy. Tight possession a little bit dodgy. Maybe like a little bit more physical strength, but outside of that, the pace, the stamina, good balance for fullback. The other three defensive attributes are going to go 80 plus with the game plan boost. He's tidy enough on the ball. Low and lofted both over 80 before your game plan boost. This is a very nice looking attacking fullback. He is very much an attacking fullback. He's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, he's not brilliant defensively. So for those of you like a very defensive fullback, probably not going to be for you. But if you like an attacking fullback, yes, one or two attributes a little bit on the low side, but on the whole, especially with the skills he's got, I think this looks like a very, very handy card, to be honest. This time, Spanish League Challenge. We do get Spanish League Challenge. I'm pretty sure everyone gets the Spanish League Challenge as well. I don't think anyone's been locked out of that, the way that a lot of people have been locked out of the Turkish, Japanese, etc. But yeah, for the Spanish League Challenge, this could be a very handy left back if you don't already have one. So yeah, not the biggest or strongest, not the best as a defensive fullback, but there's only been one version of this guy so far, and this is around about the same, close enough to being the same as that one. And I think with the skills especially being taken into consideration, and the fact it's had a reasonable boost overall, this to me looks like a very handy attacking left back. If you like attacking fullbacks getting forward a bit and having a bit of defensive ability as well, on the whole, I think it's a pretty neat card, this. And next we have Matteo Politano. He scored against AC Milan. He has a face scan, of course. He's been around a while now. Unwavering form as well. So we've had some previous versions of Politano. We've had a previous Player of the Week card that was pretty similar overall. To be honest, the end product was a bit better on that previous Player of the Week card, but in a bunch of other areas, this one is better. And this one has a slightly higher overall rating. So again, like you always get with Player of the Week cards, stats kind of shuffled around a bit. If the end product doesn't bother you so much, then this one will be better. But if you really want that extra end product, you might prefer the previous one. We've had a couple of trainable versions, one from some kind of Italy pack that wasn't on the same level as this one. This is clearly better. But there was one more recent one in some kind of legend box or Showtime box that was slightly better than this one, to be fair. So if you got that one recently, you've got a better version of him. Compared to his GP card, they've slightly nerfed his passing. It's quite annoying. But apart from that, it's just had a decent boost pretty much everywhere, to be honest. Nothing really stands out. It's a decent boost. It's a nice looking version of Politano. Skill wise, we've lost scissors feint, flip flap. What else we lost? I think gamesmanship has gone as well. We've gained long range shooting. I wouldn't say his goal was necessarily a long shot. It's kind of the edge of the area, but fair enough. Not going to complain. We've also gained one touch pass and through passing. Very nice additions. So his passing isn't great. It's been nerfed a bit, but at least we've got some skills to improve it a bit. I mean, what kind of sense does that make, though? Like, when they're deciding what the attribute is going to be based on his performance in that match against Milan, they're saying, well, his passing wasn't quite as good as it normally is, so we'll make his passing attributes worse. But he was good at passing, so we'll give him some passing skills to make his passing better. Okay. But long-range shooting's nice, I guess. We've already got long-range curler. He is primarily an inverted wing and coming off the right wing onto his left foot. So long-range curler as well as long-range shooting, very good, very handy. His finishing is going to hit 80 with the maximum game plan boost. Curl likewise, bit of kicking power on him as well, so he'll have a decent finish on him. One touch and through will help, even though his passing attributes aren't great, so I still don't ask too much from him with his passing. He's a super sub as well, always handy. So yeah, you got some pace on this guy. He's tidy on the ball. I actually have his previous Player of the Week card. It's decent. It's not amazing. This one's a bit better on the ball. That's the one issue I had with his previous Player of the Week card. He didn't feel that smooth on the ball, but this one is noticeably better on the ball. So I'd be quite keen to get this on, to be honest. He looks like a quite nice invert winger to be playing off the right flank. I wouldn't play him as an SS. I don't think his passing is good enough. Wide left, he does have pinpoint crossing, but lofted pass again is only 74, so I'm not sure how good he'd be on the left putting crosses in. I think this guy's very much going to be at his best on the right wing, cutting onto his left foot. Pace, good on the ball, decent balance, bit of kicking power on him. Physical strength's not too bad. Obviously, that's been boosted a bit. And he can finish, especially with the long-range curl and long-range shooting skills. So, yeah, all things considered, this is a neat card. Again, this is another card where there is a league challenge you can use him in. You can use him in the Italian league challenge. Could be a very handy option for that. Like I say, personally, I got the previous Player of the Week card. I kept hold of it, so it's not a bad one. It's just when I've got other options, I do have other players I prefer to use because he doesn't feel that smooth on the ball. And he's got a low sense of gravity, so you'd think he'd feel a bit smoother, but certainly this one is a bit better on the ball. And all things considered, with the qualities this guy's got, yes, you have to be a little bit careful with the passing, but I think this guy could be a pretty handy option as a left-footed right winger. So, yeah, all things considered, this is a pretty neat card, especially for the Italian League Challenge. And for me personally, I'd be quite keen to get it and try him out and see if he's a little bit smoother than the last one. Because if he's just that little bit smoother on the ball than that last one was, it could be a very nice card. And next we have Piero Hincapié. He has a face scan with a quite horrendous fringe. What is that hair, Konami? Yeah, build up. Normally an extra front man. We've actually had one previous version of this guy, and I've got it. It was in a very old Leverkusen club selection, way back a couple of years back now. That was an extra front man. It's a decent card, not an amazing one. This is an upgrade on that old card, mainly in the right column though. It's that right column rate with this one's got the main advantage over that previous version of him. Compared to his GP card, they boosted his low pass, got a nice boost on his low pass. He's got a couple of points added to his defensive awareness, but his other defensive attributes have been nerfed a bit. But as you can see, they're all going over 90 with the game plan boost. So on the whole, we're looking alright defensively. Pace had a bit of a boost. His physical contact and jumping had a bit of a boost. Stamina likewise. That's about it really. It's not the most spectacular boost from his GP card, but it does look pretty solid, this card. Like I said, defensively, I would like a bit more still on the defensive awareness, but at least at 85 you get to that +3, so you're going to go to 88 fully boosted in your game plan. The other defenses are all going over 90. That pace, you're going to hit 90 for speed. There's not many centre-backs hitting 90 for speed, certainly outside of all the kind of double boosted beefy legend cards. So you got some real pace on this guy as a centre-back. The jumping and physical contact have been boosted. They're still not brilliant though, and he's only about 6 foot tall, so slight question mark over his aerial ability. He does have aerial superiority, but yeah, slight question mark over his aerial ability, especially with so many people putting players like Carlo and Luca and, you know, Onuachu, whoever else up front spelling crosses at the moment. So that is a big concern, but the physical contact, like I say, I'd like to still be a little bit higher, but at least again, like with the defensive awareness, you've got it to the 85 mark, so you're going +3, so you're going to end up with 88 with the maximum game plan boost, so you can get away with that for sure. That's decent. But yeah, in a few areas, maybe a slight concern, like I say, the awareness and the aerial and physical, but the other defense is good. Like the passing is decent for a centre back. The pace is good, and skill wise, if they change my skill wise, they've simply added 2 skills: one touch pass and through passing. So the low pass has been boosted, and we've got one touch and through. So we're going to have some nice passing on a centre back. Not amazing, obviously, but certainly for a centre back, it's decent. And then in terms of the most important skills in a centre back, we've got man marking, interception, blocker. We've got aerial, as I mentioned. Not got heading. What's his heading like? 82. So his heading should be alright still. We are lacking the heading skill though, but got aerial, and then sliding tackle, acrobatic clearance, fighting spirit. Pretty good slashing skills for a centre back with those passing skills thrown in. So yeah, as a centre back, physically and aerially, slight concern, but outside of that, I think on the whole he'll be decent enough defensively, and he's certainly got some very nice pace. So he could be an interesting option as a centre back, as long as your opponent's strikers aren't too big. But you've also got left back. Could this guy be a left back? I think this is one of these cards where clearly, if you like an attacking left back, Fran García is going to be a lot more up your street, because this guy is going to be horrible on the ball. But he does have half decent passing. I just wonder, is this one of these cards where if you like a real defensive fullback, if you're one of these people who likes to use fullbacks who are actually essentially extra centre backs, this guy could be handy because, yes, the acceleration is not brilliant, but that speed is hitting 90 with your maximum game plan boost. And for a fullback, physically quite strong, defensively very strong, and some very good defensive skills. So, yeah, as an attacking fullback, absolutely not. But you've got left back as a position there, and if you were to put the defensive instruction on this guy as a very, very defensive fullback, it could be a very handy option. So, this is a guy who, either way, is a left back or centre back. There's one or two concerns there, but there are plenty of strengths, plenty of qualities. Yes, we don't get any kind of league challenge to use Leverkusen players, which is a big shame. Maybe you rock an Ecuador squad. You could use him in your Ecuador squad, but apart from that, for divisions, is he good enough? Like I say, both positions there are 1-2 question marks, but I do think there are enough qualities that he could actually be a decent option for you, either as a left back or a centre back. Just depends on what you want from your left backs or your centre backs. So yeah, 1 or 2 concerns there with this guy, but on the whole, we've got some good skills there in either position. You have a lot of quality, so it could be a pretty handy card for a lot of people, this guy. And next we have Leroy Sané, the whole player left midfielder. He has a face scan, obviously. So, and a couple of player of the week versions of this guy. We had an attacking midfield whole player version. That was a better card than this one. We've had another left midfield whole player, which is the same as this one previously. That previous one had more pace than this one, but this one's got more awareness and finishing. There are a few other attributes kind of shuffled around, but those are the main differences, really. In terms of trainables, we've had a Showtime version. That was a cross specialist. That was obviously a better card than this one. Different playing style, though. Otherwise, this card compares very well to the best trainable versions of Sané, to be honest. The best versions of him tend to have a bit more pace and a bit more dribbling than this one, but this one tends to have a bit more awareness and finishing. Those are the main kind of differences, really. But it's a good version of Sané in terms of the overall ability. If you got the free one, there's one with that kind of dark red background. I think that was when possibly when the big update came out. I think it was when they gave us the free trainable Lewandowski and someone else with a booster slot. I think Sané is on the other cards from that kind of selection. Pretty similar. If you got that one, you're looking at this one thinking, is it an upgrade? Different playing style, but in terms of the ability, not a massive difference. I wouldn't personally spin for this if you got that free one, or if you got another decent version, to be honest. I don't think it's that much of an upgrade, really, but it is a good version of him. And like I say, he does have the whole player playing style, which is not his normal playing style. He's normally a prolific winger. Compared to his GP card, I've had a boost on the awareness and finishing, as I mentioned. That's pretty obvious. Those are the attributes they've boosted mainly, but they've also boosted his passing a bit. Lost a little bit of dribbling, but gained a bit on ball control and tight possession. That's nice. They balanced out the on-the-ball attributes. Annoying they take the dribbling down a bit, but to balance them all out overall, I think is all right. Boost his defensive ability, of course, on an attacking player. Why not? His balance is up a bit, shockingly. They quite often take the balance down on attacking players, but that's up a bit. We've had a very nice boost on physical contact and on stamina. Interesting. So yeah, on the whole, interesting boost. You always see the stats shuffled around a bit on these player of the week cards, but I think it's a very decent looking version of Sané. Inconsistent form is a bit of a downside. Skill wise, what they've done skill wise, we've lost Scotch move and gamesmanship. We've gained double touch and pinpoint crossing. Interesting. So he's a left-footed player who certainly can play on the left. Giving him pinpoint crossing, but 74 lofted pass. Yeah, he's still not going to have a great cross on him. That's a shame. It's so annoying when they do that. They give him pinpoint crossing as though he was really good at crossing in that game. So then why not make his lofted pass good enough that he can actually cross the ball? For me, that's too low. So yeah, you're going to have to be careful with his low and lofted pass. Don't ask too much of him, but the finishing is good. I think with this guy, yes, with the whole player playing style, it could be a very interesting option from left midfield. And yes, on the whole, he's got decent session skills there. But no through passing, a bit of a shame. But as you can see, long range curler, long range shooting, first time shot, finishing 82. I think most people would see this guy as a right winger, playing him in that right wing forward position, cutting in onto his left foot. Got the pace, the kicking power, is pretty good on the ball. Yes, be careful with the passing, but the finishing over 80, attacking awareness over 80, with all the shooting skills he's got, coming off that right flank onto his left foot, I think he could be very, very handy. So this for me looks like a very, very decent looking version of Sané. On the left, his crossing's not going to be great. It doesn't have through passing. Yes, he could certainly shoot from the left wing, but as a left footer on the left wing, I don't think many people would actually get that much joy out of this guy. I don't think he's quite got the ability to be a proper left-footed left winger. I think he's very much going to be a right wing forward for most people. Yes, he won't have an active playing style, but with the qualities he's got, the skills he's got, it's a very nice conversion of Sané. Again, we don't get a league challenge to use buying cards in, but I think it's a good card on the whole. I think for a lot of people, if you get this guy, if you don't already have a good version of Sané, if you did pick him up, I think he could well be a very decent option to play, certainly on the right wing. So yeah, for me, it's a good version of Sané. I think it could be a very decent card for a lot of people. Next we have Kenan Yıldız, whole player, attack midfielder. So he's normally an SS. They changed it to attack midfield. That's not made any difference. He's really got all those positions, so you can still play him in the same positions. Although they have made him semi-proficient at centre midfield on a card which you can't position train, which is utterly useless. Cool. We've had a couple of player of the week versions of Yıldız previously, but this one is better. The previous two were not as good as this. There's been a Showtime version recently, which was obviously better. That's the best version we've had of him. There was some kind of highlight card from some kind of legend box a while back, and there's also one in a turkey pack which I've got, the most recent turkey pack, but neither of those were as good as this one. So yes, the Showtime version was better than this, but apart from that, this is just about the best version we've had of him. It's a good looking version of Yıldız. From his GP card, lost a couple of points of acceleration, lost 1 point of balance. What's the point of doing that? It's annoying, but finishing's been boosted. They've given him a bit more kicking power, a bit more stamina. Apart from that, the most significant boost really is his defensives and his physical strength. Yay! Another attacking player with a defensive boost. Thank you for that. But yeah, on the whole, decent looking version of Yıldız. Skill-wise, I've taken away scissors feint, chop turn, dipping shot. They swapped dipping shot for rising shot. I've also got double touch, first time shot, nice. Of course, fighting spirit. It's a good one to have. They just, I forget when they did it, maybe it's a month or two ago, they started putting fighting spirit on all the attacking players in player of the week. I'm not complaining, it's just interesting they've suddenly started doing that so often. But yeah, we've got fighting spirit as well. So a decent selection of skills on this guy. Got through passing there, not got one touch pass, bit of a shame, but through passing is a very good one to have. Pinpoint crossing, I'm not sure how much crossing this guy's going to be doing. Super sub, always handy to have a nice super sub. We've got long range curler and first time shot. As I was saying with Sané just now, are you going to use this guy in attacking midfield or through the middle as an SS? I wonder if wide left is going to be the place to use him. Decent pace, very nice on the ball, good attacking awareness and finishing. He's got a long range curler. Playing him wide left without an active playing style, again, that could be the way most people use this guy. Could be pretty handy there. But through the middle, he's got through passing. Is the passing good enough though? As an attacking midfielder, absolutely not. For me, that low pass is nowhere near high enough to play as an attacking midfielder, even with through passing. So I would not use him as attacking mid. As an SS, if he can work around the passing, certainly with the awareness and the finishing, with the whole player playing style active as an SS, he will get into good attacking positions. He could well score goals for you. He's got first time shot, long range curler, acrobatic finishing as well, and he's going to be good on the ball. So as an SS, yeah, quite possibly. Just be careful with the passing. Centre forward, not for me. Like I was saying with Nakamura, early 80s for attacking awareness and finishing, not high enough for me. Yes, he'd be fantastic on the ball for a striker. The passing would be decent pace. He's got some good skills as a striker. If he can work around the awareness and finishing, certainly could be a very interesting striker. But for me, the awareness and finishing aren't high enough in that position. But certainly as an SS, if he can work around the passing or wide left without an active playing style, could be very handy. So yeah, could be a pretty neat card this. Again, we do have a league challenge for this guy. You can use him in the Italian league challenge. But just in general, it could be a very interesting option. Likewise, if you rock a Turkey squad, it could be a very, very nice addition. This is one of the best versions we've had of Yıldız. Just really the Showtime that's better. And I think you've got a couple of uses just behind the attack as an SS with the whole player playing style, making those attacking runs, or wide left with the active playing style. I think both those positions with this guy, you've got plenty of qualities there, pretty good selection of skills, and he's a super sub as well. So yeah, pretty handy card this. I think a fair few people will be very pleased if they get him. And finally, Lewandowski is in Player of the Week. I've been waiting forever to get my 3000th Player of the Week Lewandowski card. He's a booster. He has a face scan. What does the booster do? It makes him better at controlling the ball, finishing, more physical contact than kicking power. Yeah, what to say about a Player of the Week Lewandowski card? It's what you'd expect, really. He's a goal poacher who's not particularly quick, but he is just about as quick as any Player of the Week card we've had of Lewandowski. We've had a lot of them. I make him just about the quickest Player of the Week Lewandowski card we've had. So certainly more pace than normal, but I still would like more pace than the goal poacher. He does, of course, have plenty of other qualities, though. He's also one of the best Player of the Week cards on the ball for Lewandowski, and even for including trainable versions. So he's pretty nice on the ball for a Lewandowski card. One big negative, though, he's got the worst balance that I can see of any Player of the Week version of Lewandowski. They've nerfed his balance. They've taken how many points they've taken off his balance? If you look at his GP card and auto allocation, 8 points. They've nerfed his balance. Why have they done that? Very, 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 very annoying. But like I said, they have boosted him on the ball. The pace obviously has been boosted. His passing has been boosted a bit. I mean, to be honest, apart from balance, the whole of the right column's been boosted pretty nicely, to be honest. So yeah, nerfing his balance like that is extremely annoying. But apart from that, it's a pretty nice version of him. Obviously, they've taken a bunch of points off his awareness. They've taken, I think, 7 points off his awareness compared to auto allocation on his GP card, which is annoying, but you're still going to get to 90 with your maximum game plan boost. It's still high enough. Finishing likewise. I mean, the finishing actually, if he's not on A form, you're not going to hit 90 with your game plan boost. That's a bit annoying. They have taken 1 or 2 points off his finishing, I think, as well. But certainly on A form, it's a good version of Lewandowski, very good version. It just depends what you want from him. And like I say, with the goal poacher, I would like a bit more pace, even though it's one of the quicker versions we've had of Lewandowski. And it's annoying if they got a bunch of points off awareness and I think finishing as well. But on the whole, if you can get away with a goal poacher who isn't that quick, and I know plenty of people, this is just me personally, I like goal poachers to be at least in the mid-80s for speed before your game plan boost. But if you don't mind that, plenty of people might be perfectly happy with the goal poacher is not overly quick. If that's the case for you, then this could be a really great card. Yes, the balance has been screwed up a bit, but apart from that, loads of qualities as you'd expect from Lewandowski. Could be a good version of him for you. It just depends what you want from a Lewandowski card. But yeah, as you expect with Player of the Week cards, the stats are always shuffled around. There are the Player of the Week versions where he's got better finishing, better attack awareness, etc. But this one's got the pace and the on the ball, really. That's the big difference compared to previous ones. It stacks up pretty well compared to trainable versions, to be honest. There's 1 or 2 slightly higher rate than this, but yeah, it tends to be the awareness and finishing being higher versus the pace and the on the ball that you've got in this one, and that physical contact as well. So yeah, the stats kind of shuffled around. If you've got a version already, which most people do, then you might find it's a better version. You might find it's not. But skill-wise, what they've done skill-wise, they've taken away, I think, chip shot control. We've lost rising shots. We've lost penalty specialist. I think captaincy's gone as well. But we've gained long-range curler, nice addition. We've gained outside curler, nice addition. Frightening spirit, of course, and that is a nice addition as well. And aerial superiority, so yeah, this is a decent looking version of Lewandowski, all things considered. You've got heading, acrobatic, and aerial. So from crosses, jumping and physical contact in the mid-80s there. He's about 6'1". He should be decent from crosses. Long range curls are a very nice addition. So you got long range shooting already, acrobatic finishing, first time shot, heel trick and outside curler. Yeah, I know I complained about the balance, and I do still find that very annoying. But even though he's not as quick as I like a goal poacher to be, they have boosted his pace. He have boosted him on the ball. The awareness and finishing are still good enough. With the skills they've added there, overall, with his feet and from crosses, yeah, this might not be one of the higher rated versions of Lewandowski, but I think it's one of the better ones, all things considered. I think it's a very usable card. If you really want your poachers to be rapid, to be running behind the defence, and you'd like your pace to be up around the 90 mark, then yeah, that's always going to be you're probably never going to be a big fan of this card, and I'm not sure I'd overly get along with it, but the fact it's a bit quicker than normal, and the skills they're giving him, the way they boost them and kind of balance out the attributes overall, I do actually think this is quite an interesting version of Lewandowski. So if I get this one, it's an upgrade on the one that I've got. I've got one of the previous Player of the Week cards. I couldn't tell you which one. It's just one of the previous 3,000 Player of the Week version of Lewandowski. But yeah, one of the attributes nerfed annoyingly, like the balance especially and the awareness. But the overall balance of attributes, the skills they've given him for a Lewandowski card, maybe not the best, but I do think this is a pretty good one. And now we have right back João Neves. He's played there a few times for PSG lately, it seems. So he has a face scan. He is now an attacking fullback and a right back. He doesn't normally have that position. They've also made him semi-proficient at right midfield. Yay! Shame we can't position train him, so that's useless. Weaker foot accuracy's gone up by 1. He's normally box to box, I think. Now he's an attacking fullback. He's been an orchestrator once or twice as well. There was a Player of the Week orchestrator card. There was also a box-to-box Player of the Week card. Neither of those cards are as good as this one, even as a midfielder, never mind the fact that they can't play as a right back. So this is definitely a better version of him than the previous 2 Player of the Week cards. We've had a few trainable versions of João Neves. They tend to have better passing and be a bit better on the ball, as you'd expect, because he's normally a midfielder. But this one is better overall, mainly for the right column, the athletic attributes. But overall, though, pretty comparable in terms of overall ability, but it just depends on where you'd want to use this card. Would you want to use this guy in midfield? Is the passing good enough for you? Is he good enough on the ball? I think for a lot of people, probably yes. And with the boosts he's had elsewhere compared to previous versions, he might consider this a preferable one. But for me personally, if I had one of the previous trainable versions, certainly one of the better ones, I would be inclined to kind of stick with one of those, just because he's that little bit better on the ball and with his passing. But certainly this is a very different version of Neves. Hard to really compare him to his GP card, because obviously they've changed the position. It's a completely different kind of build they've given him. But yeah, you can make the passing better on his GP card, as you'd imagine, because his GP card's still a midfielder. But apart from that, this is definitely a better one. Kind of goes without saying, really. He's got a pretty strong weaker foot there. Obviously, that's been boosted slightly. Unwavering form as well. You don't get a French League challenge, very annoying. But he does seem to get a fair amount of good form for PSG. Skill-wise, they've added first-time shot. That's really, really helpful on the right back. Not, but whatever, I guess. I mean, I'm no doubt he scored a goal. That'd be why he's in. They've added man marking. Now, that is a useful one. And blocker. Interesting. So if you are going to play him as a right back, man mark, insertion blocker, fighting spirit's a good one regardless, wherever you play him. He's still got one-touch pass and through passing. Soul control there, outside curve. Some nice skills there on the ball. So, yeah, what have we lost skill-wise? We lost... they've taken away weighted pass. They've done this a few times lately on a player who plays in midfield. Yes, they've changed him to a right back, but weighted pass still would have been a nice one to keep on him. Low lofted pass is gone as well. The other one is gamesmanship. I think we can live without that. But yeah, lost a couple of nice passing skills there. A bit of a shame, but certainly man-marking blocker to go with interception there. Some good defensive skills. So the question is, what position is he going to be good in? It's not another one of these cards. Do you play him in his new position, or is he still better in his original position? I think there's pros and cons. It just depends on what you prioritise out of these attributes. For me personally, as a right back, he's not quite quick enough. You could get away with him as a right back for sure, but it's just that pace. I think a lot of people would agree. For some people, that might be fine. If you're okay with that pace being where it is, I think everything else is just about fine. As an attacking fullback, he'd be really, really interesting. It would be nice if he had pinpoint crossing, but apart from that, it's really just the pace that holds him back as an attacking fullback. I think everything else is looking pretty nice. He's going to feel pretty nice on the ball. And he's got a bit of defensive ability, but those skills certainly. Just the awareness is a little bit low, but apart from that, pretty strong defensively. So yeah, as an attacking fullback, he lacks pinpoint crossing, lacks a bit of pace, but apart from that, pretty strong. If you're going to use him as a defensive fullback, again, the pace might be an issue for you. He's not the biggest or the strongest. Does have some defensive skills. He could do that. So yeah, the pace really is the one real drawback, to be honest, as a fullback. That's going to hold him back a bit for a lot of people. But if you don't mind the pace being at that level, you think that level is okay for his pace. Fantastic technically for a fullback. Quite a few qualities elsewhere, to be honest, and the skills are pretty decent. So yeah, for a lot of people, it could be a very decent right back. But then in his normal position, centre mid or defensive mid, could you put him there? He won't have an active playing style. As I mentioned when I was talking about the previous versions of him, it's a question of whether he's good enough technically for you. For me personally, it's borderline. You can certainly get away with that passing. I think if you're careful enough with the passing, that won't be a problem. I would like it to be a bit higher. On the ball, likewise, I'd like it to be a bit better because he can be, the previous versions of him, the trainables, he does tend to be better on the ball, but he's still decent enough on the ball. He's got some defensive ability, certainly with those skills they've added. So yeah, in some kind of double pivot, I don't think he's big enough or strong enough to be a kind of lone defensive midfielder, but certainly in some kind of double pivot or as an all-rounder in the middle of the park, he's definitely still very capable. Yes, he's not as good technically as he tends to be with trainable versions, highlight cards, but he's had a nice boost elsewhere. So depends on what you prioritise out of his attributes. It's a shame there's no French League challenge, but if the weaknesses for you in either as a midfielder or a fullback are things that you feel you can work around, then even in divisions, I think there are plenty of qualities with this guy. I think you've got a good selection of skills as well, and it could be a very handy card to have. I think it's a pretty tight looking one. I'll be interested to try him out if I get him. And we finish up with Dimarco, cross specialist. That is his playing style these days. He's a booster. He's got a face scan. What's the booster give us? It gives us speed, stamina, lofted. I remember this one. So speed and stamina means he's obviously good at crossing. Yep, thought so, crossing. So yeah, is this a good version of Dimarco? Yeah, it's pretty good. We've actually had a couple of previous Player of the Week cards of Dimarco that are also left midfield cross specialists. This one before the booster is just about the best out of the three, but the booster gives it the edge. So this is the best version of him out of the Player of the Week ones as a cross specialist. There was an attacking fullback Player of the Week card at Dimarco from a while back. This one around about the same, to be honest, without the boost, but the boost I think gives it the edge. So yeah, I think all things considered, out of the Player of the Week version of Dimarco, this one here is the best, especially on A form. In terms of his trainable cards, they're all fullback finishers. So if you've got a previous trainable version of Dimarco, it will be a fullback finisher. There's a Showtime version, obviously that's the best one we've had. But to be honest, the better versions of Dimarco are pretty similar really. The better trainable versions, the stats are shuffled around a bit obviously as you'd expect, but honestly if you've got a version of Dimarco, a good version of Dimarco trainable, this one's a pretty similar one. There's not a massive difference, I don't think, really, either as a left back or as a left midfielder. I think the one thing to consider might be the playing style, because that playing style will be active as a left midfielder. It will not be active as a left back. For me personally, I don't mind cross specials as a left winger. I used to play crosses into the box a lot more often. I don't do it so much these days. So cross specialist doesn't really appeal to me quite so much these days, but there aren't that many good cross specialists, and he's certainly got a good cross on him. He's all right on the ball, not brilliant, but he's got the pace and the stamina. So yeah, as a cross specialist could be pretty handy, but it just depends. Like I say, if you've got a version of Dimarco, I've got a good version. I think it's from there was some kind of Japanese tour that Inter went on and Bayern, I think. And I think my version of Dimarco is from that, and like all the trainable versions of Dimarco, it's a fullback finisher, and I've used him mainly as a left back, and a fullback finisher as a fullback, as you probably know, will go running forward, drifting to the midfield. He wants to get involved in the attack, not just out wide bit in the middle. He will go miles out of position. That's not really what I want. I prefer my fullbacks to be a bit more orthodox positionally. So that playing style for me on my version of Dimarco, even though his overall ability is fantastic, it does make me a little bit less inclined to use him. So if I was to get this version of Dimarco, I'll be more inclined to use this guy as a left back, because he won't have an active playing style as a left back, and so his movement will be more orthodox. He won't go drifting around so much. You're not going to use this guy as a centre back. He's not tall, he's not that strong physically, and he's not great at defending. He's only got 1 or 2 defensive skills, so you can rule out centre back certainly. But yeah, you've got a guy who could be a very interesting cross specialist, left wing, hugging the touchline, putting crosses in for you. If that's your kind of wing, it could be very interesting. But as a left back without the active playing style, could be decent, but he'd be a very attacking one. Defensively, he's not brilliant. Certainly the awareness is a bit low. As I mentioned, as a centre back, he's lacking defensive skills, but as a left back, interception, acrobatic clearance, fighting spirit, tracking back, track back. So he's lacking, but he's got interception. That's the most important one. I think you're certainly looking at this guy. If you're going to play him as a left back, he's going to be a very attacking left back, as you can see there. I think through passing is new, is it? I'm just looking at the skills now. So yeah, through passing is a new skill. They've added through passing. They've added track back, and fighting spirit's new as well. And they've taken away knuckle shot and dipping shot, and again they've taken away weighted pass. Bit of a shame, but we do still have one touch pass, through passing, and pinpoint crossing. Outside curl's a nice one to have. He's not too footed, is he? No, he's not. So yeah, outside curl, a very nice one to have there. And defensively, like I say, interception very important. Acrobatic clearance is nice, but if you like a very defensive fullback, he's not going to be for you. Certainly not a centre back. I don't think for anyone. But as a very attacking fullback, could be very interesting. Like I say, with the lack of playing style as a left back, that could be preferable to another version of Dimarco if you've got a fullback finisher version. Just depends on what you prefer. If you do like the fullback finisher playing style, then you might obviously prefer a previous version of Dimarco if you've got one. But as a left winger, as I touched on, you've got the pace, you've got the stamina, you're going to have a fantastic cross on this guy. Even without the game plan boost, the A-form boost, sorry, his crossing is going to be very decent with the pinpoint crossing and 85 lofted. He's got some curl and kicking power on him, especially on A-form. He's going to have a really, really nice cross on him. Not brilliant on the ball. He's not going to be amazing on the ball, so don't try doing too much dribbling. He's not going to be too great there, but he's not bad on the ball either, just not brilliant, not as good as a lot of wingers would be. But if you're like an orthodox, kind of old school left winger, left footed, just getting him on the ball, he's going to be taking out good crossing positions, going to have a very good cross on him. He could be a very decent cross specialist as a left midfielder. And as a left back, like I say, very attacking one, could be decent. And just before I forget, I've not compared the attributes to his GP card. So if you auto allocate his GP card, depends on where you use him as a left mid or a left back. His GP card is a left midfielder cross specialist these days. We've had a boost to his, pretty nice boost actually to his defensives and his physical strength. Low pass had a bit of a boost as well. His lofted pass has been nerfed slightly actually, as has his kicking power, but he's still got enough kicking power to be fair. But yeah, on the whole, like I said, defenses and physical is probably the main boost. That makes him a bit more usable as a left back than his GP card. And yeah, certainly as a left midfielder, it depends how you train his GP card, but on the whole, depending how you train him, it's obviously better than his GP card, and it's pretty comparable to previous versions. I think it comes down to the playing style more than anything. But what you got here is a very attacking left back without an active playing style, or you've got a cross specialist left midfielder. It will be very handy if you just want to get your left wing on the ball in crossing positions and whip crosses into the box. So it's one of the better versions we've had of Dimarco. Unraven form there as well. A very handy one for the Italian League Challenge because you've got left back and left midfielders positions you can use them in. Through passing is a very nice addition there. Pretty nice selection of skills as a wide left player, and a couple of ways you can use them. So yeah, this one of the better versions we've had of Dimarco. And if you want an extra option on the left flank for the Italian League Challenge or in general, I think it could be a pretty tidy card to have. So there's your player of the week selection. I think it's a decent one. I think you've got a bunch of decent cards in there. I don't think any of these cards stand out as being particularly special, but I think Neves for a lot of people could be a pretty nifty one to have. Dimarco as a left wing option or left back could be a handy one. Very nice version for Yıldız, could be handy for a lot of people. Lewandowski is not objectively the best version of Lewandowski we've had. There's been quite a few higher rated, I think, but I do think it's a very good one on the whole. I think it could be a very, very good version of Lewandowski to pick up. Hincapié, got a lot of strengths, could be a very interesting option as a centre-back or as a defensive left-back, possibly for some people. Sané, good version of him. I think wide right, that would be the best way to use this guy for a lot of people. Fran García, as a very attacking fullback, could be a very neat option to pick up. Politano could be a neat left-footed right-winger. Matheus, nothing special, but he's got that little boost to his distribution that they occasionally give player of the week goalkeepers, and he's a solid keeper on the whole. I'm not sure how much use people would have him without a league challenge to use him for, but certainly you could do worse than that guy. João Mário, not the most exciting card, but certainly a very capable attacking mid playmaker. And then Nakamura, they changed to a striker. Is he going to be good as a striker? For me, not brilliant, but certainly in his normal position, left wing could be very handy. And some people might quite like him as a centre forward as well. So, yeah, I think you've got a pretty decent selection there. There's quite a few cards in there that could be very usable if you get them. None of them to me look that exciting, but on the whole, I think it's a decent selection. So, yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Let me know what you think of the pack. Let me know who you've spun. I will be trying to do 1 or 2 streams over the weekend, and it looks like there's a Real Madrid club selection coming on Monday, so I'll do a review of that and get that one up. Try and get that one up on Monday for you as well. So yeah, there'll be 1 or 2 streams and videos coming up, so hopefully I'll see you for them. Hopefully you found this video useful. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon.